Hey everyone, welcome back to Sengoku Basara 4 Sumeragi, and today is going to be our last episode for this series, at least for the time being. So we're going to play through with Sen no Rikyu, since he's one of the only characters we haven't seen so far, and Shimazu Yoshihiro as his computer ally. So let's have a look at him, and also, at the time of posting this video, I'm also going to release a short live stream I did as well, as a little bonus episode, so watch out for that on the channel too. Thank you so much. Okay, so here we have Sen no Rikyu, and he's a new character added to Basara 4 Sumeragi, and he's the only, completely new character added to the series with the Sumeragi installment, because the other new playable characters in Sumeragi were Maria and Yoshiteru, who were introduced in Basara 4, as well as a bunch of characters who had previously been playable in Basara 3 Utage returning. So this is one of the new characters that was added for the game. I admit, when I first saw his design released, I thought he was strange looking. I was like, what the heck is this design? But I've grown to like him a bit more just because his fighting style is really cool, and he's also voiced by Takahiro Sakurai, which is always fantastic. So Sen no Rikyu, also known as just Rikyū, was considered a historical figure that had an influence on the Japanese way of the tea, and the way that Japanese tea ceremonies were kind of put in place. So it's kind of an interesting choice for like a Sengoku era game to have him as a playable character, but I think it's really unique that they decided to choose him. So in these games he has a split personality, and he switches between Wabisuke, who is like the peace-loving one with his hair up, and the more aggressive Sabisuke, who you see here with his hair down. And the thing about them is that they will change during battle of their own volition. So you'll be fighting and suddenly he'll switch from one to the other, and it doesn't really affect his attacks, I don't think. It just changes like his voice lines and the way that they're delivered. And fun fact, when you select him in free play, sometimes you'll see Wabisuke on the screen, sometimes you'll see Sabisuke on the screen. So usually I see Wabisuke, so I was a bit surprised to see Sabisuke here. Right now I have him partnered up with Yoshiteru because the two of them were kind of the two poster characters for Basara 4 Sumeragi, just because Sen no Rikyu was the new playable character that was new to the series, and then Yoshiteru was the boss of Basara 4, who is now being playable for the first time. So I thought it'd be fitting if I pair them up together, but at the same time we haven't seen Shimazu Yoshihiro, so I think I'll partner him up with Shimazu. But first I do want to show off some of their outfits. And the thing with Yoshiteru was, last time I played him on the channel, which was in Maria's episode, he didn't have one of his costumes because I hadn't unlocked it at the time because I don't really play him, so I'll just quickly show you his costumes again. And this is the new one. All gold. It was kind of boring, that's why I hadn't bought it at the time. And then again, here's his Monster Hunter outfit, pretty cool. Okay, but then I will switch him to Yoshihiro. There you are. Okay, so let's have a look at our character here. So again, he looks kind of silly, like his sleeves are so puffy. It's just a really odd shape. It looks like a pineapple kind of texture on his clothes. I think he looks even stranger as Wabisuke with his hair up. And that was the first version that we kind of saw of him too in the promotional release. Second outfit. Third outfit is kind of almost like a coffee palette. And here's his DLC outfit, Street Fighter collab as Ken. Of course, Ieyasu has his Rikyū outfit. So he fights with a pair of fans, but he also has like psychic powers somehow. Is this a joke weapon? No, that's not a joke weapon. Oh, there we go. It's like a griddle. It's got like, is that okonomiyaki on it? Which is kind of like a Japanese kind of seafood pancake of sorts. It's always funny when you see the characters with the joke weapons and then they hold them upside down like what Sasuke did with his ramen bowl. So I'll admit, I don't really know much about Rikyu. There's not much translation material on him either. Because there was a lot of translation material released for Basara 4 when it came up, when Sumeragi came out as the expansion. A lot of people didn't extend upon that with the new characters. So I'll admit, I don't really know much about his story. In fact, his ending still doesn't really make sense to me, and I couldn't find an actual translation for it, even though I searched around online. All I know is that Rikyu is being hunted by Hideyoshi, and it's not really clear why, other than that something happened at some tea ceremony between the two of them. But then Hideyoshi said that Rikyu could be a disaster for the world, so not exactly sure what that means. Something that's kind of interesting is that for Basara 4 Sumeragi, they added 2 new elements to the cast. So there are normally 6 elements in the game, and all the characters are distributed among those elements. So there's fire, lightning, ice, wind. Which ones did I not say? Oh yeah, light and darkness, of course. So for Basara 4 Sumeragi, they added 2 new elements. They added quake, which is kind of like earth, but it sounds cooler, specifically for Yoshiteru. And then they added another new element for Rikyu specifically called kan, which is kind of translated as being feeling. So that's kind of interesting. I know that in Yukimura Den, the spin-off game that comes after this, they did add another character that used quake, but I think for now, kan is exclusive to Rikyu as long as you're using everyone's default weapons, because I know they added some DLC weapons that change people's elements if you equip them as well. Let's have a look at Yoshihiro. Oh yeah, something else I want to mention is the names Wabisuke and Sabisuke for Rikyu come from the word wabi-sabi, which is kind of like, in Japanese traditional aesthetics, wabi-sabi is a worldview that means accepting transience and imperfection. It's kind of a way of life and aesthetic, I suppose. And I think most of the characters in the game refer to them as Wabisuke and Sabisuke and not as Rikyu. I could be wrong. So Yoshihiro Shimazu is one of the characters that has been around since the first Basara game, and he's never really appealed to me in terms of his gameplay or his character design. I still like him as a character. I think he's important to balance out the roster, but he's not a character I really play. So basically his role is usually he's one of the veteran fighters, like he's like of the older generation, and he like challenges everyone to basically like, oh, if you young people want to take over Japan and rule it, show the older generation that you're worth it. And I really struggled to figure out who to pair him up with, so the fact that he's paired up here with Rikyu is mostly just because he's the only one left. But Shimazu is a slow character, and he's kind of known for this like one hit, one strike. So his moves have a little bit of wind up, but then like once they hit, they do a lot of damage. In fact, in Basara 3, his personal inscription made it so he killed everyone in one hit, but he himself also died in one hit. So it was like a high-risk kind of inscription that you can equip on him. In this game, they took away that inscription, partly also because Naoi Kanetsugu now has that ability as a roulette character. So he kills everyone in one hit, and he also gets hit and dies in one hit. So Yoshihiro's a little bit stocky. He's a bit shorter than some of the other characters. He doesn't really have many character relationships. Like, he has a rivalry with Tadakatsu, but of course Tadakatsu had to pair up with Ieyasu. he also is friends with like Muneshige because they're both like older veteran warriors. In Basara 3, he does join the Western Army along with Muneshige, but he doesn't really have that much of an influence on the plot. I think he gives some advice to Yukimura at some point in time, being another older character like Shingen, but he's stuck around since the first game, but he does not have a super big influence on the plot anymore. And aside from his joke endings where he converts to Zavism and renames himself Chester, let's try his joke weapon out with a fly swatter. Okay, let's go do story mode with them. So you can see here on the character screen, there's Wabisuke on the left and Sabisuke on the right.
Rikyū ならば最後に懺悔しろ。定めに従い残腹しろ。
ああ、三成様、あなたの怒りが入ってくる。僕は相変わらずクソ重てえな、三成。引っ込んじまったぜ、わびすけは。
出たな。利休のうちに潜む猛量が。覚悟しろ。その首ごと貴様を捜索してやる。
お前ごときに作文の暇も興味もねえんだよ。ってことでだ。あだよ、とんがり頭。
待て、利休！利休！
So it looks like they just call him Rikyu. So because of his psychic powers, he's also able to fly, so like look at him here, the way his like sleeves and the bottom of his outfit like contract and expand, it's kind of unnerving. It almost looks like if you stare at it too long, like a hidden Mickey from like Kingdom Hearts 3. You know when you play Kingdom Hearts 3 and you look for those hidden Mickey Mouse shapes and then you look for them so hard that eventually you start seeing them everywhere. Okay, so I have the Maeda stage, Nobunaga, Hideaki, Shikanosuke, and Yoshiaki, and Soren, and also Motonari. Wow, that's a lot of choices. I don't think I have any special dual cutscenes with any of these guys. We've only done the Maedas once, and we've only done Nobunaga's once. Let's do the Maedas. His flying looks so ridiculous.
さあ、新生前田軍の出陣だ。行くぞ松。刑事、腹を決めろよ。あれ、それって明日じゃ。しまった。ぽっかり完全に日にち間違えてた。
Okay, so let's have a look at his moveset. So let's start with his regular moves and watch his hair change as he switches between Wabisuke and Sabisuke. And also, I guess, so the other characters do call him Rikyū, so I guess sometimes I'll call him Rikyū instead. I'm so used to just saying Sen no Rikyu. Is that cool? So if I hold the button down, it's kind of like a grab or a throw. Oh look, it's Wabisuke. He looks so silly. Look at the way he runs. And his hair looks pretty silly in my opinion, compared to his outfit. It just doesn't fit. So you knock people in the air and then you knock them away. You just press triangle. So if I press it, it does that, but if I hold the button down, it's slightly different. Guard stance. I don't know if their guard stances are different actually. Probably. It's kind of a cool attack. Okay, so I can combo into that. That's nice. Okay, yeah, his guard stance is a little different. Mid-air attacks. Heavy. So I know that as you hit people, sometimes they get trapped in like tea bubbles that float them up in the air, kind of like Tsuruhime's bubbles. So I think this attack explodes the people in the bubbles or something like that. I know that as you hit people and they get trapped in bubbles, then when you're attacking, the little like distorted waves that appear here can knock the bubbles around and do extra damage. Or moving triangle. I use this one a lot, I think. Okay, let's check out his R2 moves. Ranged attack, maybe a grab. Oh no, oh, I remember this one. If I hold the button down, I can control where to aim it. And just shoot stuff. That's what that is. This one's a grab. So if you hit someone with this, they'll get trapped in a bubble and float up into the air, and then Rikyū will begin a tea ceremony, take out some tea and start drinking it, and all enemy soldiers nearby will also kneel down and start to have a tea ceremony. It's kind of entertaining. Oh, this one. So this one floats some boulders around, and then as you attack, the boulders will move around and hit people along with the bubbles that you gathered. It's kind of like having like Zavis as Soren combined with Hideyoshi's like boulder thing. I'm gonna keep the grab one on because I want to show you it later. Okay, so remember we had to chase the Maedas around the stage, Matsu and Toshiie.
まったくそれがしが大将の何たるかをあんた物騒なもん持ってるねもし松根ちゃんお説教は後ほどってことで
I forgot that I could fly too. What purpose that serves in battle? Not sure. Okay, so here, well, I guess they're not really tea bubbles, they're like psychic balls or something like that. They do explode like bubbles. And you can see as I'm attacking, they're getting knocked around. It's kind of OP actually.
ここは任せて本体を呼びに行けトシでもしっかりなさい
あなたは前田軍の大将なのですよ。
分かった。
Okay, I haven't done this stage enough times to remember what the most optimal path is to race them.
刑事が戻るまでに場を整えるぞ。
はい。刑事の晴れ舞台に花を添えましょう。なんという勢い。皆様方、ここはお持ちのごとく
she's attacking me. Oh, Toshii's going that way. Dang it, he's gonna get there first.
待ってろよみんな。約束は守るぜ。
No! No! I thought I could jump it! Oh, that delayed me so much. Okay, maybe I'll let Toshii get those two bases and then I'll just take these ones.
境に招かれざる客よ。まずは平服するがよかろう。
トシ、松姉ちゃん、大丈夫か？みんな食え。それがしも今のうちに食うぞ。
I don't know if flying's faster than running. Oh, okay, I can get the stage. Or this, I keep calling it stages sometimes, this base.
残す根拠地もあと一つ。退却を視野にお入れくだされ。
Oh, hey Shimazu, I forgot you're slower than me, so you gotta catch up. See, look at all the enemies getting gathered up in my T-ball and then just being smacked around. This is kind of OP, actually. Hey, you guys are going too high, I can't get you from up there. Where's Toshii? Oh.
後悔なんてしないよう全力でかかってこい。
Oh, she's taking back my bases. That's not good. It's kind of hard to hit them when they start floating. I gotta find Matsu. Maybe I could do a tea party with her. No, never mind, she won't let me. Don't you want to have a tea party, Matsu? Okay, there we go. See, I'm having a tea party. Everyone standing around me is sitting and enjoying their tea, and then the bubble pops. Except I was clipping into the floor there. Ow, stop it! See, I'm not even hitting her and she's flying around from my psychic powers. It's a little disorienting.
大将は熱くなるなって説教されそうだけど許さねえ。もう
Let's have a tea party.
戦できねえ。こちとら国を背負って
Oh, come on, I had it, please. No, KG, I'm not ready to fight. I want to have a tea party.
これが国を背負う重みなんだよな。トシ、松姉ちゃん。行くぜみんな。前田軍東大将前田刑事。マカリトール。潜れや最強。食らえ前田もぐもぐ隊の威力を。
前田突撃やるのみ隊おかわり隊と共に到着。
刑事大将、まだまだ援軍が駆けつけてますね。あなたは背負っているのですね。僕などよりもずっと。
Come on, KG, I just want to have your base. Oh, he released a bunch of enemies on the field when he appeared too. Look at them all getting gathered up. Oh cool, I can like knock around like a beach ball if I jump in the air. Okay, fine, KG.
一点ご指導お願いしたい。
寂しいって
よもやこれつきを読めなかったとは言うまいな。瞬く間に命の灯火が消えていた。
またこんなこと。
That was kind of a neat Basara attack.
覚悟を決めな。聞き飽きてる
Oh my gosh, stop jumping around, KG.
俺とお前で作る戦か。
No, don't go floating away.
同じじゃねえか、堺とよ。
Okay. Maybe being able to turn people into psychic beach balls with T-bubbles is a little annoying at times. Because then they float out of your reach, and you gotta jump after them. Let's try my 2 different taunts.
あんたの花、見事だったよ。また巡り会いたいね。
Okay, I think I have the same taunt in each, in both of them. He just kind of phases in and out.
じっとしてろ。
It's kind of neat, the way they do the animations between the two of them.
僕はどこまでさまようんだろう。俺はいつまでさまよえんだかな。
Oh, there he goes.
そうか、利休を取り逃がしたか。申し訳ございません、秀吉様。どうかこの私に今一度お命を注ぐ機会を。
いや、利休君の追撃はひとまず手の空いた者に任せる。君には他に向かってほしい戦場もあるからね。
は、半兵衛様の軍略に従うとここに宣誓します。
それにしてももう一人の利休君か。彼の内に潜む異なる心を持つ存在。秀吉、あの日君と利休君だけの境で何があったのか、やはり教えてはくれないんだね。
すまぬな半兵衛。だが言えることはただ一つ。奴が世の災いということよ。長宗我部が現れ。沢山から近頃は地下に誰かがいるみたい。
Oh, hey Shimazu. I'm playing as you right now. Could fight the animals again. We haven't done that in a while since like the first episode. Wait, no, I think we did that once in another episode since then, didn't we? Okay, let's do... Well... I was gonna say let's do Shimazu's stage, but then I realized if I want to switch to playing as Shimazu, this is not an ideal stage for a slow character. I feel like we've beaten up Kanbei enough times. Well, you know what? Let's beat up Kanbei. If we're gonna play as a slow character, might as well fight another slow character.
日の本を結んだこの小生の穴道。いいか、この穴道はな、南は西表から北は蝦夷まで。官兵衛さんが語り出した。こりゃ長くなるぞ。
Shimazu's so... he's like short. I know part of it's because he's like standing with a low stance, but then his sword is so big and so tall. So again, he is kind of slow, but specializes in these like one strike, one kill type of situations where each hit does a lot of damage. Oh yeah, the other annoying thing about him is, for his regular attack, if you miss with the first swing, he won't continue. But if you hit someone, he'll continue the rest of his attack string until he has no more targets to hit. So I can't just stand here and show off his regular move because he needs to combo it. Triangle attack. Have a lightning imbued. Guard stance. Moving triangle. A little bit more of a leap to it. If I hold the square button, I can charge up the attack. See, the animations aren't super exciting for him either, being an older character. I mean, there's only so much you could do with a giant sword, I guess. This one's actually pretty cool. This one's a new attack for Sumeragi. Boy, this one's kind of neat. It's like a battle cry roar. You can see like the faint outline of like a kanji when he does that. And then aerial. Oh, he got in a surprising number of swings. Oh, that one's kind of nice. R2 move. Oh yeah, this one charges up his sword with lightning. It's even taller now. Has more reach. What's this one? That one's kind of neat. I wonder, without the lightning, does it still shoot ahead? Then he has this one, where he powers up for a really long time and does like a strong hit. Actually, that's not too long of a wind-up compared to other characters. Let's give some of these a try. So see, as I hit people, oops. See, now he can do the rest of his regular attack combo. He's pretty good actually at single target like boss encounters just because of the high single hit damage he does. I think my least favorite characters to play in this game are Yoshihiro, Kanbei, and Shingen. But of the three of them, Shimazu's the one whose design I like the least. But of the three of them, Shimazu's probably the best one to play just because he's pretty strong and he doesn't have too much wind up and like vulnerability frames after an attack. Oh yeah, so this move still sends shockwaves even without the electricity, but the electricity makes you shoot two of them. Oh, this one. Look at the goofy way he kind of runs too. At least he can open chests without stopping. Ah! I thought he had another move that I enjoyed using, but this one's pretty good. I could have sworn he had another attack that was gave him a bit of range, like he had it. Unless they changed it from Basara 3, he had like a dashing attack where he'd dash forward and slash horizontally. Goodbye, Kanbei. I'm sorry. Oh, Sabi Yusuke's not sorry. Not sorry.
ここらで休憩休憩。お前さんたちちょっくら見張っていてくれ。カンベイさん、店員さん追っかけてきたぞ。何？あいつを乗りこなしているだと？小生はな。 そいつを乗りこなしたことがないんだ。正直怖くてな。速いし危ないし。ダメだ。あまりに混じり合いすぎておっと大岩が転がり出した。こいつもこうにやつきもんだ。 勘兵衛さんがいつも潰されるあの天敵の大岩までぶっ壊しやがったぜ。ここは穴掘り用の火薬を危ないから触るな。
I'm trying to hit Kanbei to make him speed up, but he keeps going out of frame. Where is he? Did he roll out of frame? Come on, give me the base, yeah. These poor guys. Why are you running around on the mining tracks anyways? Bad idea. You know, anytime that like a game or a movie has train tracks and the characters are hanging around near it, you know someone's gonna end up getting stuck on the train tracks while the train's coming. Even if the characters are all like, oh, but trains never come through here, or we'll hear it coming from miles away. So I always get nervous whenever you see that. You're like, oh, train tracks, someone's gonna get caught. Funny how he can damage his own bases, but then once the base becomes yours, he can't damage it, he just bounces off of it. You would think it'd be the other way around, right? Like, not from a gameplay standpoint, just from a lore standpoint. Oh, I did it! I opened up the door. I thought there was only one gatekeeper, but there were like 3 of them that time. Is it always like that? I'm actually not sure. Oh yeah, that's powerful. This electric stance also lasts for quite some time. Although I think it might have to do with the inscription I have. I don't remember. It's nice he damages enemies too when he's charging up, so less likely to get knocked out of it. Okay, let's try his Basara attack.
誰もいないのか？この穴蔵はな、小生の命と同じくらい大事なんだよ。お前みてえな枷つけられる前に逃げ出せて本当に良かったぜ。
I'm pretty sure in Basara 3, Shimazu used to add electricity to his sword by he'll take the flask on his waist and then he'd drink from it, and then he would like spit the sake back onto his sword and it would electrify it. I don't know why he doesn't do that anymore. It felt like it added more character Look at them slowly clashing with their like slow and heavy moves. I'm surprised that Yoshihiro is able to even have a duel or a clash with a character with such slow swings of his sword. Oh yeah, his taunt. Oh yeah, his taunt is where he drinks the sake now. Oh no, he does spit it on his sword, but it doesn't add the electricity to it. Let's just do the duel. Let's just do the duel with Shimazu, since I don't think I've actually done the duel with Shimazu on this series. Mostly because it's just a one-on-one battle, so there's nothing really interesting about it. Gosh, I got me tongue-tied. He's on Motonari's stage, that's interesting. Does my taunt do anything to the bubbles? So you can see when I'm Sabisuke, taunt is a little bit different. That first hit is kind of annoying because if I miss... It's so weird to see two Shimazus on the field. Oh no, no, I missed! I wasn't paying attention and... Some Basara attacks you actually have to direct and move the character while they're doing it. Some of them you don't, and sometimes I get lazy and I forget. Okay, Shimazu, help me beat up Shimazu, please. Thank you, Shimazu. I appreciate Shimazu.
何よりの茶受けってやつだ。
もっときれい、もっと幸せ。
Ow. See, here's my taunt as Sabisuke, and then as Wabisuke. It's a little bit different.
抑えろよ。僕はどこまでさまようんだろう。俺はいつまでさまよえんだかな。
His music theme is so like starts off like haunting and then is kind of intense. This sounds like a serene version of it. That's interesting.
Rikyū。よかった。やっぱり利休なんだな。あなたは家康様。なぜここに？高名な茶人がいると聞いてな。もしやと思ったんだが、お前でよかった利休。お前が秀吉殿に追われたと聞いて心配していたんだ。今ではわしも豊臣とは敵対する身の上なんだがな。はい、話には聞いていますが、その一体何が？まあいろいろとあってな。だがわしは近々豊臣軍と秀吉殿と決着をつけるつもりだ。そうすればお前ももう逃げなくていい。全て終わったらまたわしに茶を教えてくれないか？家康様。大友旅川中島の地に女児童。お尋ね者か。
Okay, so we're gonna do his drama route, the blue one here.
「聞いてくれ、サビスケ。僕はもう一度秀吉様に会おうと思う。何？そりゃどういう風の吹き回しだよ。あの時家康様から流れ込んできたんだ。決意、後悔、そして痛みが。あんな人が苦しむところなんて見たくないんだ。それにこのまま逃げ続けても何も変わらない。だから僕は秀吉様に会う。そして詫びるんだ。あの罪をお許しいただけるまで。はっ、殊勝なこった。一応言っとくが、それならそれで俺は好きにさせてもらうぜ。秀吉を始末して追っ手が収まるなら万々歳だからよ。ああ、好きにしろよ。僕は負けない。お前にも僕自身にも。どこまで行けば。
かっこ撃破にこだわるな。取り囲み押し進みながら潰していけ。
これはまさかこの軍勢は。へえ、咲いてんじゃねえか、炎と風が。絶好の野立日和だぜ。そ そう思うだろう、ワビスケ。
ほう、この場に砂人が訪れるとはな。それもなるほど、これは実に懐かしい顔ぶれだ。
松永久秀様、なぜあなたがこんなところに、なぜ豊臣と戦など。
ごきげんよう。何、私のことなど気にしないでくれたまえ。目的は私ではなく彼だろう。覇王、こたびの佐々木、亭主は慶だ。案ずることは。
So much talking. I was gonna wait till they're done talking to
悪いね、急いで
start.
いるんだ。早く済ませよう。僕がこうして夢を見ていられるうちに。
So we finally start a battle as Wabisuke instead of Sabisuke. Oh, hey Hanbei, you're stuck in my giant psychic T-ball. So with Wabisuke, as you saw, when he starts the battle, he reaches his fan out and a bird lands on it. And then Sabisuke, in contrast, when he starts the battle, he kind of like spits on the ground and his spit scatters a bunch of birds who are hanging out in that general vicinity. It's kind of an interesting detail, contrast between them. Oh my gosh, look at all these enemies balled up together. They're so hard to hit when they're like that unless I fly. I'm not really used to doing aerial combat. Rikyū also has special boss cutscenes with both Hisahide and Hideyoshi, but since they're fighting each other, I don't know if we'll see them. So I guess we'll have to see. They're both pretty cool though, so if I don't see them, maybe I'll do some free play after the story mode. Hey Kotaro. I saw some people once like data mined the textures on Kotaro's like face to see what he looked like under the mask, and it looked kind of creepy because, like, you know, when you look at textures from a video game, like you see the unwrapped version of the texture, so his face is all squished out and looks kind of chubby and stuff. It was very disconcerting. Some things just aren't meant to be seen, right? Where'd he go? Oh, he's behind me. Come back, Kotaro, I gotta finish killing you. Ow, 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 ow! Hey, that's pretty effective. Well, if I keep mashing the button, it goes on for longer. Oh, thanks, Shimazu. Yoshihiro is one of the few characters where I prefer to call him by his last name, Shimazu, instead of his first name, Yoshihiro. I don't know why. Speaking of which, Samurai Warriors, or Samurai Sengoku Musou, has a pretty cool version of Shimazu's son, Shimazu Toyohisa. I like his design, unfortunately. He's not in Basara. Okay. Like on the direct opposite side of the map, thanks to Kotaro. Oh, that guy's still floating in the corner. Oh, I need to start using the rock attack, where I float the rocks around. First, let's give a tea party to these guys. I haven't done proper tea party. Here we go, see? He's trapped in a tea bubble. And everyone else is just enjoying tea with me. Shimazu, why don't you have a seat too? You seem out of place when you're just standing there with your sword in the middle of a tea party, you know? Come on, everyone. Okay. Get some boulders. Oh yeah, that feels much better. Wait, where'd they go? Oh, there they are. I was scared maybe they despawn when after they hit someone. Can I summon them in the air? There we go. Maybe that's faster startup. Oh yeah, this move is fun. Should I just go fight the bosses already, or should I just spend more time messing around with the bases? Oh, the bosses are at my base. Never mind. I was gonna go take it back, but I guess I don't have a choice. Usually they don't stray that far from the center. He's such a badass. So do I not see my cutscene with Matsunaga? Oh, come on, Hideyoshi, let me have this one. Ah! Oh, come on. At least I'm getting a lot of money. Give me some Basara. There we go. Those are some interesting paintings. Rikyū has like a set of twins, and then Yoshihiro has this cool Oni mask. No, don't cover me in gunpowder. Gotta get rid of Hideyoshi first, because his wrestling moves are really annoying if he grabs you with them. Okay, so I guess I have to do free play to see my rival cutscene with Matsunaga. Let go of me! That move's always so brutal. Love it, but not when I'm on the receiving end. Oh, I love that Matsunaga's death animation. He he just explodes as if he's like making a getaway, I guess. If you don't knock him down like I did, he... Oh, let's stop talking.
クソ野郎が。
乱世の一角たる覇王も今や昔か。やはや見事なものだ。彼はケイラのことをこの世に不必要な災いと評したが、私はそうは思わないな。なんだと？詫びなるケイが持つ力、共感とは実に稀有なものだ。他者の心を感じ取れるということはすなわちこの世すべての感情を知るに等しいのだからな。かまどに火を灯しこねるも一興。千のサビスケ、千のわびすけ。私がケイラの傷を癒し保護しよう。今日から私がケイラの死だ。
Wait, that's the end of the cutscene? See, I don't know what's going on in Sengoku's story mode. Even having seen all the cutscenes, they don't make sense to me. Okay, so what I was saying was, if you kill Matsunaga and he's like standing upright when you kill him, he'll stumble back like a step or two, then he'll compose himself, and then he'll snap his fingers and disappear in a puff of smoke. What a badass. And then if you knock him down, he just kind of, his body will lay there for a second, and then he'll explode and disappear in a puff of smoke.
さて、もう傷は癒えただろう。
うるせえぞ。クソ痛えに決まってんだろうが。
いや、すまなかった。手加減は苦手でね。ところで、もう一人のケイ、詫びなる者は目覚めないのかね。
ああ、秀吉との一件がよほど答えたみてえだな。もう何も見たくねえ。だとよ。
それは困るな。私の目的のためには彼のありようが不可欠なのだ。無論 K のその力もだがね。錆なるものよ。
それで俺らに何をさせてんだ、お師匠様よ。
そうだな。それは道すがらに語って聞かせよう。だがまずは彼の目覚めを促すために神を手にかけるとしようか、弟子たちよ。ぐずぐずすんなよ。
来ましたね。しかしすでにこの地は毘沙門天の手の上。上杉全軍包み込みなさい。
ごきげんよう。軍神最も神に
You know, it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of characters in anime who have split personalities, and when they change, like their hairstyle might change or something, like they slick it back or whatnot. But, oh gosh, stop running me over. But in Rikyū's case, because one of the hairstyles has his hair up in like a bun sort of thing, in addition to also having like a little hat. So where does the hat and where do the hair ties come from every single time he changes? Gosh, my bases are already taking damage. They took a lot of damage from just those couple hits. Oh, come on. I was gonna go defend it with this guy. Okay. Knocking people into the air and trapping them in bubbles is a little bit more annoying than I thought. I thought it was a really cool gimmick, but starting to get annoying. It just means I should do more aerial combat.
なだれの無毒激しきもま
誰が呼んだか。いや、呼ばれずとも俺は来る。眠れし無敵、名をえ金継ぐ参上。
皆もの次を崩さない進め。
Where are you, Kanatsugo? There you are. Okay. Now can I go start taking over some bases? You're not dead yet. And is Matsunaga like traveling with me now? Didn't he just like stab me? What's going on here? Oh, I thought I could fly over you guys. Okay, I need to make use of Shimazu more. Oh, there's a fugitive. Where's the fugitive? Is he in here? I see his icon. Oh, he must be up here. Did he get away yet? Fugitives used to be strong in Basara 3, like they'd appear and then they would do a lot of damage to you and then quickly try to run away. They don't seem as strong in this game. Oh my god, just give me the base. I need to get back. You know, Senno Rikyu's attacks are pretty, like, satisfyingly strong in terms of how they feel, but I don't think I'm actually doing enough damage compared to other characters. Oh my god, they always took back the space. I should get back, but I just want to get this one back, come on. Oh my god, they're still hitting it even when I'm in slow motion mode. No, Kasuga, now's not the time. Do I have my double Basara up? That would be useful.
大将、武神よりもまずこちらを。大将、願わくばサジンよりこちらにお回りを。気がついてんだよ、俺は。邪魔するなら殺すぞ。女だろうだ。
Here's my double Basara.
全てが終わった。一気にぶっ倒すぞ。
I like how those guys are still rolling around. That got rid of a lot of the enemies.
ダメだサビスケそんなひどいことはワビスケバカ野郎こんな時に目覚ましてんじゃねえぞ
なんだこいつらは
紹介しよう私の弟子
I like how she's just getting knocked around even when I'm not hitting her. My psychic abilities seem to have that extra range. Hey, stop it! No, she's hitting my face while she's doing that.
逃げてください僕はもう誰も殺したくないんですよ
なんておぞましく哀れな男
Do I even bother taking over the other bases?
同情はするが
Oh, they just got one back. Never mind. I'm just gonna go for Kenshin.
引くわけにはいか
My
ない
Basara's back up.
殺してしまったまた一人もう嫌だ助けてくれサビスケワビスケすみよんじゃねえ俺に
人は受け入れがたい事実というものを簡単に否定するものだ
あの舞うような動きは何だあれでなぜ人が倒れる
この日の元に幾度となく繰り返されし選定の儀いざ問わんそなたは誠の主なりよ
戻れないんだ手にかけてしまったんです僕は寂しいあなたの大事な人をな似たもの入り乱れてなんて
仕方がないのだ
こんなこと
I love this aesthetic with all the like glowing yellow lines in like a swirly kind of pattern. It's a really interesting shape. Help me out, Shimazu.
だがそんな彼とて K を許す気はないようだな
I also don't know what determines if the enemy gets trapped in the bubble or not, because sometimes they like escape it, and sometimes they don't.
この国にとってのね
僕が災い俺がそんなことは
どうする消えるかね
どうせ災いなら
Yeah, that felt like a good combo.
お前みたいにありたいサビスケやめろ進んだそれじゃダメなんだよサビスケどこに行ったんだよサビスケああ僕か抑えろよサビスケ
調子はどうだね
いい気分ですまるで生まれ変わったような
それは何よりだ詫びなる者の特質に錆なる者の精神武芸それらを兼ね備えたKこそ帝の前に立つにふさわしいでは向かうとしようか己が欠落を埋めてもなお人の何かを取り込まずにはいられない飢えし者不足の美よ
So are we on good terms now, or no? I don't understand what's going on. Oh, so many weapons. Okay, it looks like our last stage is just a duel with Yoshiteru.
待たせたな、久保殿。ようやくにして訪れた約束の時だ。
おお、実に待ちわびたぞ友よ。してそちらの若者が
千利休と申します。何卒お見知りおきを。これより我が師久秀の命に従い引きずり出します。あなたの五臓六腑に至る全てを。
ほう、世の全てときたか。大きだな友よ。だがそれがいい。
彼という名の姿見によりあらゆる刑が引き出され、その熱き本流が全てのものを照らしゆくだろう。この今も行く末も、そして私の内に眠りしかけらをもな。
どこまで行けば。
さあ行きたまえ。混じり合いし不足千の利休よ。
はい、ご覧ください、我が師よ。
The other thing I want to note as well is, and I mentioned this before, Rikyū is the only character that doesn't have his own stage. He's not a boss on any stage at all. You can do a duel with him, like a one-on-one fight with him, but that's it. That's why he doesn't... It's so hard to pinpoint what relationships he has with other characters, because he doesn't really interact with them very much. I don't know why, considering if he's one of the main poster boys of Basara for Sumeragi, why didn't they create a stage for him? I mean, I guess that makes him unique in a way. I mean, even Matabe didn't really have a stage before, but you could still fight him in a stage, and then he got the Sanbei stage in this one, so Rikyu's the only one. I like this stage, how the map is drawn. Kind of gives you that sense of foreboding, fighting the final boss.
Boku wa wazawai. 尊敬すべき相手を、神を、罪なき人を、友を死に至らしめた災いです。
なるほど。そのかぎろいもまた心地よいな。これより世が日の本の主か。待っていろ。熱を求め凍えかけし友柄よ。足利の者として世がその方に導こう。この世に生まれ落ちてよかったとそう思えるように。そのために並べる方がなくなるのは寂しくもあるがなあ。
これが心。人の根源となりうる宝。名も知れぬ一人の子に愛されし歌か。
What is going on? All that evil laughing too. Oh, I knocked him down here. Well, I guess we'll fight in the courtyard instead of the castle.
れがもはや叶わぬとくれば
Help me, Yoshihiro.
まさか歯がゆくもあるな。
それも全て足利の血を引いたればこそですか。
Oh god, he's hard.
あなたは高潔だ。ヘドが出るほどに。
なぜ民草はこんなにも冷え切っている。
要はこんなにも熱を欲しているというのだ。
I'll just corner him over here.
なんだあなたじゃないか。冷めているのは寂しい人だ。あなたはまるであいつだ。僕だ。でも同時に煮えたぎっていて優しくて冷たい。
そこまで世に感じてくれるか。感謝するぞ友よ。だがまだ足りぬ。もっと用意してくれ。
Spam this move. It's kind of fitting that the last episode of the series I'm doing this fight against Yoshiteru, who is the final boss. Because he's not the final boss for everyone's drama route, so it's kind of nice. I specifically saved Senno Rikyu for the last episode, mostly, it's not because I dislike him, I just felt it was fitting since he is one of the poster boys and also the newest character added to the Basara canon as of Sumeragi. I say that because they added more characters in Yukimura Den. Oh no, he moved! How dare you guard against my Basara attack? Get Yoshiteru to help me. Or, not Yoshiteru, Yoshihiro.
その方には何か特別な礼が必要と思っていたからな。
Come on.
Ah, 俺は僕はサビスケサビスケ。
どれ試みに一つを二つに分けてみようか。何良き宝への返杯だ。気兼ねなく受け取りたまえ。
はあ。
そう、Kには別離を送ろう。
サビスケ。ワビスケ。
What in the world just happened? So there we have it. 20 episodes of Kiro plays Sengoku Basara 4. We've seen all the characters, whether we did their story or we used them as an NPC ally. I'm gonna do a free play stage after this just to show off one more thing. And if you're interested, I did live stream Sakon's anime route, and I'm gonna upload it as a video right after the release of this video. So I guess technically we'll have 21 episodes of Kiro Plays Basara 4 Sumeragi. I did that one to test the live stream capacity so I can get ready for the next series I'm gonna do. So stick around after this and we'll play a little bit more.
新たな日の本は一人の英雄により築き上げられた。
一人で歩くのにも慣れてきた。いや、これが当たり前のことなんだな。
その時代は1000年の時を超えて繁栄を極めるのであった。
Alright, let's do a free play stage. We'll do it on easy just so it's fast. So if you recall, last time we came to free play at the beginning of this episode, it was Sabisuke that we saw, so this is now Wabisuke. So it randomizes it between the two of them. I'm not sure if it's like a straight 50-50 chance, like if you get Sabisuke last time, you will definitely see Wabisuke this time. Alright, so I'm going to play this stage, and so this stage was the same one we played at the end of Sakon's drama route against Yoshiteru. Now, this stage has Yoshiteru as the boss, but also Kotaro and Hisahide on it. The reason why I'm doing this stage is because Rikyū has a special boss cutscene with Hisahide, which we didn't get to see during the story playthrough. And I just think it's kind of neat, especially since this boss cutscene with Hideyoshi shows Hideyoshi overpowering Wabisuke, and then the more aggressive Sabisuke comes out and proves himself his equal and blocks Hideyoshi's attack. In Hisahide's special boss cutscene with Rikyū, it's the opposite. He starts by attacking Sabisuke, and then Wabisuke kind of comes over and takes over the fight. So I think that's kind of neat. It shows that both of them have their strengths and weaknesses, even though they're the same person, even though Sabisuke is the more aggressive one and Wabisuke is the more passive one. They can both be really good at fighting. Now this stage is randomized because we have to gamble on whether we see the red or the black rooms. Last time we did the stage with Sakon, we didn't see Kotaro and Hisahide at all, so I'm hoping we at least encounter Hisahide this time.
どこまで行けば。ようこそ友よ。ここが二条御所改め守国の館だ。少し道楽が高じてな、作り直させてしまったよ。完全なる男、帝よ。あとわずかの時だ。しばしそこで待っていてくれたまえ。
Something I think is pretty cool about Basara is that it has a lot of like outwardly evil characters, like characters that are just outright evil or like very obviously antagonistic, like Hisahide and Yoshitsugu, Nobunaga, kind of Hideyoshi as well. And yet, even though they're all... Oh, and Motonari. Even though they're all like pretty like classic textbook evil, they're all classic textbook evil in a different way, which is kind of neat. Let's do red. And there's a lot of characters with darkness as their element as well, and yet every character puts a different spin on it. Like Oichi, Nobunaga, Hanbei, Yoshitsugu, they all use darkness, but in different methodologies. Okay, maybe let's try black this time. Oh, I think I'm gonna get it wrong. I want to see Hisahide. I don't know if I do that by getting incorrect ones or correct ones. Oh, here he is. Oh wait, I didn't even get a boss cutscene with him there. And I don't get boss cutscenes with Hisahide on the other stage, because the only other stage Hisahide appears on is the one where you fight him and Hideyoshi. And we only see Hideyoshi's cutscene.
望むがまま遊ぶがいい。
Okay, that's interesting.
やったな。それでこそだ。
Oh, I didn't stick around to see Hisahide's death cutscene for you guys. Sorry.
先ですら退けるとはな。強運なのかそうでないのか。
So does that mean the only way to see the boss cutscene between Rikyū and Hisahide is to play as Hisahide? But then Rikyū doesn't have a stage, so then you have to do it in story mode with the duel. Okay, that's really interesting. Okay, here's Hisahide. Oh!
茶を沸かすには熱が足りねえぜ。ならばこれではどうかな。
結構なお手前です。
Okay, I don't know why it showed that time and not the other. Okay, I want to kill Kotaro first.
勝つすれなど路傍にいくらでも転がっていいよ。勝負を捨てるな。
So I want to show up Hisahide's death animation.
おっと、すまない。指を鳴らしてしまったよ。
Okay, good. I was wondering how I was gonna see the cutscene if it didn't work on the stage. Maybe I'll switch to Shimazu, because I feel like if I kill him with Rikyū, he's gonna get knocked to the ground, he's gonna fall instead of standing upright. So with Shimazu, if you whiff your attack, it's a lot more punishing. He also has a very narrow cone of attack. Ah, he lit me on fire. Oh, come on. I'm trying to go easy on you just so I can keep you standing up when I kill you.
その方の望みはそのようにちっぽけなものか？冗談だ。
See, isn't that kind of cool? Oops, I didn't mean to pause. Well, it's been red every time.
残念だ、サヒデ。楽しみにしていたのだがな。
Oh, look at that.
だが、それすら
I should have just guessed red from the beginning. Money, 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 money. Hey fellas, at ease.
Yoが望むは人々がたぎろう熱き時代。
I find it so funny the way his hand doesn't move when he spins his weapon.
さあ、友よ。今こそ創世の時。さあ、守護の檻を突破せし友よ。
Show off our Basara attacks.
駆けく限ろうではないか。その方こそはそうなのか。 世にとっての対の友と呼ぶに値する存在なのか。違う。楽しんでもらえているかな、友よ。そうだな。ここでも少し趣向を凝らしてみようか。友よ。 これが天からの申し送りだ。黒き刺客をつき大村。またこんなこと。
What if I just shoot fans at him from here? Oh, this is really hard to aim. He's off screen. Am I hitting him? Okay, never mind. Give up on that attack. Can I have tea party with him? Oh no, he's not gonna let me. He got me in a grab while I was doing that. Very, very clever. Just sitting here trying to enjoy my tea, sip it nice and quietly, and he comes in and spears me and throws me across the room. Rude. Wait, there's a roof there. You're gonna hit your head. Oh, so here we are with Sabisuke now. Okay, sell the weapons. Alright, so there we have it. Kiro plays Sengoku Basara 4 Sumeragi. Episode 20 with Senno Rikyū and Shimazu Yoshihiro. So that'll be the end of the series for now. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll post the bonus livestream footage at the release of this episode as well, so check that out for Sakon's anime ending. Thanks so much for watching, I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know who's your favorite Basara character, or who do you think looks really fun to play? I'm sure I'll play this game again in the future. Maybe I'll do more live streams of it, or if you want any specific character playthroughs or any endings you want to see, let me know in the comments and maybe I'll revisit this in the future. I do like this game a lot. Praying real hard for Basara 5. Don't give us another spin-off, give us another actual main installment, because I would definitely import it and play it for you guys if they do. So, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next episode. Well, oh, I'm so used to saying that. I'll see you in the next series. In fact, by the time that this episode has been posted, I think I would have already started my next series. So, look forward to that, and check out my channel for other videos. Take care now. Bye-bye.